Alright. We are back at it again. And, yeah, I guess we're going to meet Father, and not on great terms, let's just say that. Okay. Each time I took a breath, more cold, nasty sweat poured out of my body. What's going on? What the hell is happening? I've been asking myself the same questions for a while now.
立てるか?
Can you stand up? Sarika slowly offered me her hand. Her voice was different, but it was the same Sarika. I went to grab her hand and stand up like I always did. And then I smacked it away without thinking. No, it's not what I want. My head was still a mess from everything that happened, but I could feel my temperature rising. I thought once more of my sister's death, my rage was just barely enough to support me. I stood up and glared at Sarika. The urge to vomit had left me at some point. That's right, she killed Nono. Sarika held the hand I knocked away close. She looked back at me. Why are you looking at me like that? Like you're hurt.
他に取る手段がなかった。クルスノノには正体を感づかれてしまったから。
There's nothing else I could do. Kurusu Nono knew who I was.
何?
What?
私は私のままでお前を生存させ続けなければいけなかった。そのためには彼女が邪魔だった。
I had to keep you alive without being mind-controlled myself, and she was in the way. Without warning, her body floated up and slammed into a nearby wall. I hadn't even had any time to think about it. I'd used my power without even realizing I'd done so.
ふざけんなよ。お前とノノは。
What the hell are you talking about? You and Nono were...
友人ではない。私には友人など一人もいない。
We weren't friends. I have no friends. Fuck, right? That is what Takaru created. She could tell what I was thinking.
それが私の能力だ。私はこの能力でお前を守り続けてきた。
That's my ability. I've always used it to keep you safe.
お前に生み出されてからずっとだ。
Ever since you created me. Keep me safe, you liar.
嘘ではない。
I'm not lying.
だから嘘はやめろ。
Stop lying! What? Why are you smiling?
相変わらずだ。自分にとって望まない情報が出てくると、まず逃避から入るんだな。
You never change. Whenever you encounter information you don't like, your first instinct is to run away, isn't it?
幼い頃から変わっていない。
That hasn't changed since you were little. Stop it.
私を生み出した時もそうだった。
It was even like that back then when you created me. Stop it.
私はお前に生み出された存在。そして
You created me and...
お前を生き延びさせること。それ以外は私にとって二の次なんだ。
Keeping you alive is the only thing that mattered to me. Nothing else was important.
おい、くだらない思い出話なら死んでからやれ。
Hey, you can't talk about the old times after you're dead. There was a low, fierce voice. It came from Kunosato-san. She went to Sarika and grabbed her by the neck, then slammed her into the wall. You don't mind, do you? I could hear a horrible creaking sound coming from Sarika's neck. Maybe she couldn't breathe because her mouth looked like it was gasping for air.
お前たち委員会のその理屈じゃ二の次のやつには何をしても構わないんだろう。
You committee people all think you can do whatever you want to the people who don't matter, don't you?
やめなさい、ミオちゃん。
Stop it, Mio-chan.
黙れ。私はこいつを。
Shut up, I'm gonna kill her.
らしくないな。思考がめちゃくちゃだ。まるで頭の中が沸騰しているようだぞ。
That's not like you. Your thoughts are a mess. It's like your whole head is boiling over.
何？
What?
私は委員会に協力していたが属してはいない。お前のアメリカ時代の件とは無関係だ。
I helped the committee, but I never belonged to them. I have nothing to do with what happened to you in America.
勝手に私の心を読むな。
Stop reading my mind! Kunosato-san's hands dug deeper into Sarika's throat.
何を言っている？お前が考えるから私に伝わってしまうんだ。
What are you talking about? You're thinking about it. That's why I can see your thoughts.
まあ考えるなと言っても無理か。白熊効果を直に感じたのは初めてだな。
Well, I guess it's impossible not to think of something like that. I've never really seen the white bear problem for myself like this before. Strange phenomenon observed in human psychology. The term describes a phenomenon where, when people are told to suppress certain thoughts or memories, they actually become more likely to think about or remember said things. The name white bear problem comes from an actual experiment where subjects were shown a photograph of a white bear and told not to think about it.
お前。
You.
別にバカにしているわけじゃない。手を離してくれないか。
I'm not making fun of you. Would you take your hands off me?
目的は話をすることだと言っただろう。ああ、望むなら委員会の情報も知っているだけ話してやる。
I told you, I'm here to talk. If you want, I'll tell you everything I know about the committee.
有村がいれば本当のことかどうかわかるだろう。
With Aramura's help, you can tell if what I'm saying is true, right? Sarika glanced at Aramura. Aramura took a frightened step back and then looked at the two of them. Kunosato-san roughly shook her hands off her. Her hands were shaking, there were red marks in Sarika's throat. Kunosato-san took a deep breath to calm herself down.
今回の事件を含めてこちらが聞いたことに関して全て話せ。自分で言った通り有村がいる以上嘘をついても無駄だ。
Tell me everything you know, including what you know about the case. Like you said with Aramura here, there's no point in trying to lie.
ああ、
それから今のように私の思考を読んで会話をするな。頭の中が能力者に覗かれていると思うと吐き気がする。
And don't read my thoughts when you talk. When I think of a psychic looking at what's inside my head, it makes me sick.
わかった。それで構わないか。
Fine. Is that okay with you? Circus suddenly looked at me. I couldn't speak. Why was she asking me?
知りたいんだろう、真実を。
You want to know the truth, right?
お前は新聞部の部室でいろいろな仮説を立てては事件の全容を追っていた。確かにいいところまで行っていたが、最後に間違えた。
Came up with a lot of theories in newspaper club room as you tried to figure out the case. You got pretty far, but you made a mistake at the end.
佐久間や組織の存在に気づくことができなかった。
You weren't able to find out about Sakuma or his organization. I made a mistake? That's right, I screwed up at the very end.
私が全て知っている。お前がずっと追ってきた事件の全てを。
I know everything. Everything about the case you spent so much time trying to figure out. Her words made me angry. It was as if she was going to tell me everything as a favor.
バカにするなよ。僕はもう事件のことなんて。
Don't insult me. I don't care about the case anymore.
何？
What? Serica seems surprised. What difference did it make now? Yui and Nono were gone because I tried to solve the case. They weren't coming back. And
復讐なんて絶対に考えないで。危険なことはしないで。
don't think about revenge. Don't do anything dangerous. But no matter what, they would have came for him anyways, because he was a psychic, so you can't just disengage from this entirely.
何もかも忘れて、他の人と同じ日常を、だけど埋もれないように、強く、しっかりと過ごしていってください。
Forget everything and live the same life as everyone else does, but don't get buried among the crowd. I'm not going to do anything else that's dangerous.
クルス・ノノのせいか。
So it's Kurusu Nono's fault? Damn it, she's reading my thoughts again.
心配しなくても私がお前を危険な目に遭わせない。むしろお前が危ないことをしないでくれると助かる。
Don't worry, I won't put you in danger. In fact, it would help me a lot if you stayed safe.
だが委員会と事件のことに関してはお前も聞いておけ。今後身を守るために必要となる。あと
But you need to hear about the committee and the case. You'll need to protect yourself and...
やめろ!
Stop it. I yelled. I couldn't take it anymore. Stop it, Serica. Stop talking like you're on my side. You are the one who killed Yui and Kurusu, and you were the one who did that to Ito.
理屈より感情を優先するのか。それが情報強者の取るべき態度か。
You're prioritizing your feelings over the facts. Is that what a right-sider is supposed to do?
うるさい。
Shut up. I know that. But what if I can't help it? I can't just calm down and listen to you.
今だけ割り切るんだ。どうせもうじき決着がつく。そしてどう転ぼうと私はお前の前に二度と姿を現さない。
Just try and keep a cool head for now. This will be over soon, and no matter what happens, you'll never see me again.
何?
What?
だから今は割り切ってくれ。長くて24時間ほどの協力体制だ。それに黒里美代。
So just stay calm and listen, for now. You'll only have to help me for 24 hours at most, and... Kunosato Mio? Circa pointed to the girl who had been strangling her only a few moments ago.
取引だ。お前の望みを叶えてやる。その代わり、今後宮代拓郎を預かってもらいたい。
Let's make a trade. I'll grant your wish. In return, I want you to keep Miyashiro Takaru safe. So apparently she has a wish that we don't know about.
なんだと。
What did you say?
順を追って話す。その途中で、お前の聞きたいことを聞いていい。
I'll start from the beginning. If you have any questions about what I tell you, ask them.
だが、その前に座っていいか。壁に叩きつけられた時に腹の傷が開いた。
But can I sit down first? A stomach injury opened when I got slammed into the wall. Circa went to the sofa and sat on the edge. Only then did I remember what Dad had just said. He said that he'd cut open Serica's stomach. Did he say that? As she sat down, she put a hand on her stomach for a second, and I saw that it was stained with blood. But what was eerie was her attitude. She'd been careful not to put pressure on it. She sat down, but she didn't look hurt. It was as if her injuries like that were an everyday occurrence for her, and she'd given up on things ever getting better. The Circa I'd always known seemed like a completely different person.
佐久間にやられたということは、あいつもディソードを持っているのか。
If Sakuma attacked you, does that mean he has a D-sword too?
質問は佐久間のことからでいいのか。
Should I start by talking about Sakuma then? Circa didn't bother wiping the blood off her fingers. Well, I guess Sakuma controlled Takaru to attack her, so I guess, yeah, Sakuma attacked. But the D-sword belongs to, obviously, Takaru. Circa didn't even bother wiping the blood off her fingers.
いや。
No.
おい、有村。こっちに来い。
Hey, Armora, come over here.
何ですか？
What?
お前も座れ。長くなる。こいつが嘘を言ったらすぐに教えろ。
You sit down too. This is going to take a while. If she lies, tell me right away. Konosata-san didn't wait for Armora's answer. She turned back and sat down across from Serica. Armora still looks scared of her, but...
はい。私も聞きたいことありますから。
Okay, there's things I want to know too. She sat down next to Konosata-san. I don't want to go near her. Images of you and Noah's death flashed through my mind, and I couldn't think straight. There's no telling what I might do if I got close. I ended up leaning against a wall.
百瀬さん。新庄さんにも聞かせたい話です。電話をして、スピーカーで繋いでおいてもらえますか？
Momose-san, I want Shinjo-san to hear this too. Call him and put it on speaker, would you?
わかったわ。
Sure.
それから、さっきはすみませんでした。
I'm sorry about what I just did.
何が？
What do you mean? Kasata nodded to Momose-san, and then her expression tightened once more. Momose-san made a call and said a few words to someone in the other end, probably Shinjo-san. Then a moment later she nodded. Then Kunosata-san began.
まず、根本的なことからだ。委員会の目的は何だ？
Let's start with the most important issue. What is the committee after?
わからない。
I don't know.
は？
わかると言えば嘘になってしまう。そもそも私は佐久間と協力関係にあっただけだ。お前が盛んに委員会と呼ぶ組織のことは知らされていないんだ。
If I told you I knew, I'd be lying. I'm simply cooperating with Sakuma. I've been told nothing about this organization you call the committee.
佐久間自身だって委員会の末端組織でギガロマニアックスの研究をしていただけの人間だ。委員会全体のことは伺い知れない。
Sakuma himself is only part of a very low-level committee organization that does research on gigalomaniacs. He knows nothing about the committee as a whole.
末端の組織というのは？
And what is this organization?
6年前、サードメルト、渋谷地震を起こした連中が属していた研究グループだ。AH 東京総合病院の地下の研究所を管理していた。
The research group that caused the third melt, the earthquake 6 years ago, they were in charge of the lab in the basement of H Tokyo General Hospital. Shook a little when I heard her say that. That was where me and Misawa Senri had been tortured. That was where Uki had been kept and forced to care for her patients. Dad had been working for them?
今渋谷地震を起こしたと言ったな。じゃあやっぱりあれは人為的なものだったのか？
He just said they caused the earthquake, correct? Then it was deliberate after all?
人為的というよりも何らかのトラブルと聞いている。詳細は極秘で佐久間も知らされていないらしい。
It was the result of some kind of accident. The details are top secret and Ivan Sakuma knows them.
どうやら私の仮説は正しかったようだな。
Looks like my theory was right then. What she said matched most of Kunosata-san's theory.
渋谷地震が実験中のトラブルだとすると、委員会はそのせいで研究そのものを放棄したのか？
If the earthquake was the result of an experiment gone awry, then is that why the committee abandoned their research?
少なくとも佐久間はそう言っている。6年前、事故のせいで委員会は手を引き、地下の研究所も解体させられたと。
That's what Sakuma says, at least. The accident caused the committee to pull out, and the basement lab was dismantled too.
しかも委員会はギガロマニアックスとは違う案件に力を注ぐようになったそうだ。佐久間は自分たちが切り捨てられたと怒っていたが、詳しくはわからない。
The committee put their efforts into a different project than the Gigalomaniacs. Sakuma was angry that he was cut off, but I don't know the details.
ギガロマニアックス実験の被験者たちが地下で放置されていたのもそのせいか？
Is that why the victims of the Gigalomaniac experience were kept in the basement?
そうだ。はしごを外された形の研究者たちは山添雨季をはじめとする被験者たちを持て余し、ああやって軟禁しておくしかなかった。
That's right, the researchers had their funding pulled, so there's nothing they could do with Yamazoe Uki and the other victims but leave them in the basement.
だが、しばらく経って、イレギュラーが発生した。
After a while, they realized that some irregularities had surfaced. Circa glanced over at me.
白い光による能力者のことか？
These sidekicks created by the white light?
ああ。
Yes.
私はその光を事故によって飛び散ったギガロマニアックスの発生因子だと推測したが、その通りか？
I thought the light was some kind of causal factor that turned people into gigalomaniacs. I suppose I was right then?
そう考えていいと思う。佐久間も仲間の研究者たちとそういう話をしていたからな。
It's a safe assumption. Sakuma and his fellow scientists were saying similar things.
仲間がいるのか？
He has people he works with?
いや、元の仲間と言った方がいいな。佐久間以外は研究を諦めて、一応肩着でやっている。
No, his former fellow scientists, I should say, all of them except Sakuma, gave up on research and turned to less illegal work.
前に宮代や有村が脳の検査をしに行ったクリニックの院長とかな。
The head of the hospital where Miyashiro and Aramura had their brain scans done would be one such example.
何？じゃあ、あのクリニックで撮った宮代たちの脳の断層写真は？
Then the brain scans are taken at the hospital.
フェイクだ。昔のよしみで作らせたらしい。
Were fakes, made as a favor to an old friend. There were fakes? But they weren't taken live? Wasn't Kunosato there? So I guess their brains really are swollen. Their neocortex, rather. Circa kept talking. What she said should have been a shock to me, but so much has happened that felt like I was no longer capable of being surprised.
父さんが本当に
So, Dad, really? He was really part of this committee thing? Dad, the guy who always drank too much? Dad, the lazy guy who got chewed out by Nono and Yui all the time, but whom everyone at Alba Dorm relied on more than anything? Dad, the man I loved way more than the people who'd actually given birth to me?
何もかも全部
It was all... It was all fake? When he'd been at the head of Alba Clinic, when he'd been the dad at Alba Dorm, that was all fake? And then he killed Yui Nono, who trusted him completely? I could feel pain in my hand where I punched the wall, but it didn't help me forget any of the other things I was feeling.
佐久間の目的は何だ？
What is Sakuma after?
言っただろう。イレギュラーで発生した能力者の始末だ。
I told you, he wants to eliminate all the irregularities that were accidentally created.
違う。本当の目的だ。
No, I mean his real goal.
うん。
能力者の始末が目的なら、もっと簡単に殺せたはずだ。なのに、なぜこんな面倒なことをした？
If you just want to kill the psychics, there are easier ways. Why make this all so complicated? It's a good question.
11番目のロールシャッハ画像を現場に残したり、6年前と同じ日付に事件を引き起こしたり。
Why leave the 11th Rorschach at the crime scenes? Why commit the murders on the same dates as the one 6 years ago? Also, I imagine all those sumo stickers have to be like some kind of psychic power, right? Like, who the fuck is putting those up? That's right, that's how all this began. The mystery was so compelling that I started to work it out with the rest of the newspaper club. In the end, I decided that it was a game. The killer was challenging me too, and I was wrong.
あれは委員会へのメッセージだよ。
It's a message for the committee.
メッセージ？
6年前、トラブルによって発生した危険なイレギュラー。つまり、想定外のギガロマニアックスを自分が掃除してやっているというアピールとでも言おうか。
You could say that he wants them to know that he's cleaning up the gigalomaniacs that were created by accident 6 years ago.
掃除？
Cleaning them up? Or more raised an eyebrow. I felt so furious that I took everything I had to stop me from using my powers.
ふざけんな。ユイをあんな風に殺したのは掃除だったっていうのか。
Don't screw with me. So you're telling me that doing that to Yui was cleaning? Momose-san must have seen me because she came over and whispered for me to calm down. I just barely managed to.
想定外のギガロマニアックスというと、大谷や高柳、柿田、渡部、あるいはこいつらのことだな。
These accidentally created gigalomaniacs would be Otani, Takayanagi, Kakita, Watabe, and these two? Konosato-san pointed to Aramura and I. Circa nodded silently.
そうだ。佐久間は末端の組織の人間で、委員会と直接コンタクトする手段がない。だから、委員会が注目するような形で事件を起こしていったんだ。
That's right. Sakuma was only a part of a small organization. He had no means of getting in touch with the committee directly, so he did things in a way they'd be sure not to miss.
さらに、11番目のロールシャッハ画像、つまり本物の力士シールも委員会にとって見過ごせないファクターだと佐久間は考えた。
And by using the 11th Rorschach, the real sumo sticker, he figured he could make it impossible for them to ignore.
あれは6年前の計画破棄とともにデータごと全て消去された。当然、1枚たりとも残っていてはいけないものだ。
All the data about it was deleted 6 years ago, of course. They couldn't leave a single one in existence behind.
ところがそんなトップシークレットがよりにもよって事件に使われニュースで公開されたら委員会だって放置はできないだろう。必ず佐久間に接触してくる。それが狙いだった。
But if that top secret picture started showing up in the news, then the committee would be forced to take action. They'd make contact with him. That's what he was after.
データごと消去されたのなら佐久間はどうやってあの画像を手に入れたんだ？
If the data is deleted, how did Sakuma get it?
ある場所に画像が保存されていたんだ。委員会の想像もつかないような場所にな。それを取り出すことに佐久間は成功した。
He hid it somewhere they never imagined, and then he succeeded in getting it back.
というと？
What do you mean?
脳の中だよ。歯科で実験を受けていた被験者の山添右紀が連れていた老人を覚えているか？
He hid it inside the brain of one of the basement test subjects. Do you remember the old woman who was always with Yamazoe Uki? I remember too. That blind old woman.
無論あの老人だけでは何の役にも立たない。でも非常に珍しい能力を持ったギガロマニアックス山添右紀との組み合わせを発見した時佐久間は狂気していたよ。
Of course, the old woman was useless on her own, but then he was overjoyed to find out how she'd be paired with another gigalomaniac, an exceedingly rare ability, Yamazoe Uki. Oh, so when they say they put it in her brain, they don't mean like they surgically cut open the brain and put like a USB stick or like a sticker in there. What they mean is all the data on it was deleted, yes, but she remembered it, and then it was in her imagination. So you could call it that, like it's in her head, kinda. And then Yamazoe Uki, of course, made it reality. Okay, yeah, I figured that Uki was probably the only one who had an ability that could spread the stickers around like that.
山添の能力は他人の妄想をリアルブートしてしまう。それを使ったんだな。
Yamazoe's ability allows her to real boot other people's delusions. He used that, right? Does that mean whenever that old woman was not paired with her, then no more stickers would appear?
そうだ。あの画像に取りつかれていた老人は食事を求めるように画像を求め、それを山添がリアルブートするようになった。
Correct. That old woman was obsessed with the image. She sought it like you and I seek food. And then Yamazoe started real booting it.
そうして11番目のロールシャッハ画像は渋谷の至る所に出現し、佐久間はそれを回収して犯行に使った。ここまでやれば委員会が動かないはずがない。
That's how the 11th Rorschach started appearing around Shibuya. Sakuma went and recovered them, then used them in his crimes. Their presence would force the committee to act. Huh, but it's a blind old woman. So how does she seek the stickers necessarily? Like she can't even see it. Also, there would be no footage of Sakuma going around putting up stickers. Like, aren't there cameras everywhere? Is that what SafeWorks is all about?
佐久間は委員会と接触することで何を望んだんだ？
What did he wish to gain by making contact with the committee?
自分が中心となったギガロマニアックス研究の再開。
He wanted to restart the Gigalomaniacs project with himself in the lead. That was it? That was the only reason? That was the only reason he did all of this?
で、実際にあったのか？委員会からの接触は。
And did it work? Did the committee contact him?
そのようだ。委員会は研究再開の条件として今回の事件の収集をつけるよう佐久間に命じた。
It appears so. But before they were willing to restart the project, they ordered him to finish cleaning up this incident first.
そこで奴は私との約束を反故にし、宮代に全ての罪をかぶせて事件の収束を図ろうとしている。
That's why he broke his promise with me and is trying to end the killings by portraying Miyashiro as the killer. For the first time, there's a hint of disgust in her voice.
結局佐久間に裏切られたわけか。なぜ佐久間はこいつを犯人に仕立て上げようとしている？
So in the end, Sakuma betrayed you. Why is he trying to make him out to be the killer? Kunasato-san pointed at me as she spoke.
本来であれば事件は南沢千里が犯人となって決着するはずだったんだ。自殺という形でな。
The original plan was for Minamisawa Senri to play the role of the killer. The killings would end with her suicide. I was caught off guard by the sudden mention of her name.
と言っても実際はお前たちも知っての通り灰田理子という別人だが。
Of course, as you know, it was going to be another woman named Haida Riko.
宮代拓、お前はずっと南沢千里が生きていて自分に復讐しようとしているのではないかと怯えていたが、それは杞憂だ。
Miyashiro Takeru, you always thought that Minamisawa Senri was alive and was plotting revenge on you, but you were scared for nothing.
本当の南沢千里はこの世にはいない。確かに死んだんだ。そもそもあいつはお前を恨んでなどいなかったしな。
The real Minamisawa Senri is gone. She's dead and she never hated you.
お前南沢千里のこと知ってたのか？
You knew that Minamisawa Senri directly? I mean, Nono had her phone number and called her even.
直接は知らないが、クルス・ノノの思考を読んだ。
Not directly, but I could read Kurusu Nono's mind. And that's how she found the ID.
また思考盗撮か。大した芸だ。
More mind reading, that's one hell of a trick.
皮肉はいい。とにかく佐久間は全ての事件の後、灰田理子を南沢千里ということにして自殺させ、事件の幕引きにするつもりだった。だが、その計画はうまくいかなかった。
Your comments are unnecessary. Either way, Sakuma planned to end the killings by making Minamisawa Senri, aka Haida Riko, commit suicide, but his plan didn't work.
さすが宮代拓だと褒めておくが、お前たちはこちらが思っているよりもずっと早く事件の裏に気づき、すぐに行動を起こした。
I suppose you deserve some praise for this, but you solved some of the mysteries of the case faster than we expected and took action.
そのせいで殺す予定だった能力者が殺せなくなり、順番が狂ったんだ。
Because of that, he wasn't able to kill the person he planned to kill, and the order of the murders had to change. Serika looked at me for just a moment, then looked away. She was probably talking about Uki. They were going to kill a little girl like that? I scowled at Serika as hard as I could.
それで仕方なく灰田陸を先に殺したのか。
So he killed Haida Riko first, since he didn't have a choice?
そうだ。ニュージェネの狂気の再来事件を途切れさせるわけにはいかなかったからな。
That's right. The turn of the New Gen Madness incidents couldn't be allowed to stop. I felt disgust as I watched Serika calmly talk about murder. This can't be the Serika I've always known.
それで最終的に宮代拓を犯人に仕立て上げようとしている理由は何だ？
So why is he trying to frame Miyashiro Takeru as the killer?
実はよくわからない。が、委員会の指示かもしれない。
I don't know, but it might be the committee's orders. I never heard of this committee until now. So why?
覚えていないか？宮代自身が以前疑問に思っていたことだぞ。
Don't you remember? It's something you were wondering about before.
何のことだよ。
What are you talking about?
能力者は一人で一つの能力しか持てないのかという疑問があったろう。
Whether a psychic could only have one power. That's right. That did come up when we were talking in the club room. In the end, we never came up with an answer, so we had to move on.
お前は私という存在をリアルブートした。これだけでも大した能力だが、その後さらに別の能力まで使えるようになっている。
You real booted me into existence. That's incredible power on its own, but after that, you became able to use another ability.
渋谷地震で発生した白い光。それを浴びた者の中にはこんな例は存在しない。そうだな、クノサト。
None of the other Giggle-maniacs who were struck by the white light have been able to do this. Am I correct, Kunosato?
ああ。今のところ、データ上は皆無だ。
Yeah, at least according to the data we have.
だが、佐久間によれば、かつて佐久間たちの組織が研究していたギガロマニアックスというのは、そういうものだったそうだ。
But according to Sakuma, the Giggle-maniacs who once studied were capable of that.
何？
What?
サイコキネシスだの、テレパスだの、特定の力だけを持つ超能力者まがいではなく、
They weren't simply psychics with individual powers like psychokinesis or telepathy.
心の中に思い描いたどんな妄想でもリアルブートできる存在。それをギガロマニアックスと呼んだ。
They're capable of real booting anything they could imagine.
つまり、本来のギガロマニアックスは能力さえ開花すればどんな力でも使えるはずなんだよ。
In other words, once their powers developed, the real Giggle-maniacs could do anything. Kunosato looked at me with narrowed eyes. I'm assuming she's one of them.
つまり、宮代拓は本物ということだな。そして、委員会は何らかの理由で本物を危険だと考え排除したがっている。
So Miyashiro Takuro is the real thing then. For some reason, the committee decided he's dangerous and wants him gone.
推論だがな、6年前の事故に何か関係があるのかもしれない。
It's just a guess, but yes, it may be connected in some way to what happened 6 years ago.
私が話せることはこれで全てだ。あとは知らされていない。
That's all I can tell you. I don't know about anything else.
どうだ、有村。
Well, Armora,
嘘はついてないみたいですね。
it doesn't look like she's lying. Armora had been watching Serika with fiery eyes the whole time. Serika looked back at her and after a moment's thought she spoke.
ああ、その通りだ、有村。
Yeah, that's right, Armora. Armora jumped up out of her seat.
だから勝手に人の心を読むな。
Stop reading my mind.
さっきから考えていることがあるだろう。言葉に出さないと他の連中に伝わらないぞ。
There's something you've been thinking about for a while now, right? If you don't say it, the others won't know.
最低。
You piece of shit. There was much hatred in her voice. When Serika didn't respond, it only angered her more.
セリじゃない、尾上セリか。あんたは思考盗撮を使って能力者を見つけ殺していた。そうよね。
Seri, no, Onoe Serika. Use your telepathy to find psychics and kill them, right?
ああ、
Yes.
ラブホテルで柿田さんが殺された事件、どうして柿田さんの方を殺したの？
When Kaki-san was murdered in the Love Hotel, why did he kill him and not me?
私も能力者だって分かってたんでしょ？二人であそこにいたんだから。
You knew I was a psychic, right? Both of us were there.
簡単だ。私の能力と柿田の能力が同じだったからだよ。思考盗撮の能力者は邪魔だ。私や佐久間の正体がバレる。
It's simple. Kakita had the same power I did. A telepath was a threat to our plan, so you could find out who Sakuma and I were.
たったそれだけの理由で。
That was the only reason?
私たちの計画には重要なことだ。
Is important to our plans.
ちくしょう、あんたのせいで。
Damn it, it's all your fault. At some point, Aramura started to cry.
そうだ、私がいたせいであの日柿田は死んだ。
That's right, it's my fault that Kakita is dead. You bitch! Aramura reached out into thin air and went to grab her D sword, but then stopped. She then looked down at Serika, tears running down cheeks that were red with rage. Damn it all! Aramura slammed herself back in her seat instead of grabbing her sword. She wrapped her arms around her body without bothering to wipe away her tears.
新庄さん、聞いていたか？
Shinjo-san, did you get all that? After a moment silent, Kunisata spoke into the phone.
Oh.
Yeah,
あんたにやってもらいたいことがあるんだがな。
there's something I want you to do.
なんだ？
What?
青葉寮にまだ捜査員が残ってるなら、なんとかしてほしい。あとマスコミも。
If there's still officers at Alba Dorm, I want them gone. The media too.
ああ。家宅捜索自体はもう終わってる。可能だと思うが、どうする気だ？
Yeah, we finished our search. I think it's possible. But what are you planning on doing?
場所をそっちへ移す。佐久間の調査と、あと山添浮を私たちの目の届くところに置いておきたい。
I want to head there. I need to investigate Sakuma. I want Yamazoe Uki somewhere I can keep an eye on her. Yamazoe Uki is probably going to be super fucking powerful in beating Sakuma, right? Like, I'm just be like, I imagine Sakuma as dead, and then Uki real boots it. Can he do that? Can she do that? It was several hours later when Shinjo-san called us and told us that all the police had left Alba Dorm. We were all loaded into Momose's car, and Shinjo-san told us which routes to follow to get there without hitting any checkpoints.
Hmm? Momose-san wa?
Where's Momose-san?
フリージアに戻りました。別の線からいろいろ調べてくれるとか。
She went back to Frisia. She says she's going to look at the case from another angle or something.
そうか。
I see. Shinjo-san was waiting for us in the living room. He stood somewhere he could observe Serika. I suddenly felt the familiar smells of home and just felt a little better.
はあ、ここはやっぱり僕の家だ。
Yeah, this place really is my home, isn't it? It had only been a little while since I'd left to find Kurusu, but it felt like a lot of time had passed.
ここに来るまで大丈夫だったか？
Did you make it here okay?
はい。
Yeah. I nodded back, but it felt like the whole town was going crazy. As I crouched in the back seat, I would sometimes look up and peek out the window. It was bizarre how many people there were. The sun was only just starting to rise, with there were groups of people partying everywhere. Through the closest windows, I could hear irritating laughter.
みんなが浮かれてる。うちの署は全員街のあちこちで警戒に当たってる。
Everyone's excited. The whole department's deployed around the city to keep watch. Shinjo-san must have seen the look on my face.
僕を探してるんでしょうか。
Are they all looking for me?
いや、そうでは。
No, they're not. He was about to shake his head, but Aramura said, "You're lying."
すまん。正直その可能性が高い。復興祭でいつもより人が多いのは事実だが、ネットは見たか？
Sorry, honestly there's a good chance they are. It's true that the festival means there are more people outside than usual, but have you looked online?
あ、 いえ、
Oh, no. I hadn't felt like it.
君を捕まえた者に懸賞金が出るというデマが広がっている。
There's a fake rumor going around that whoever catches you will get a reward.
Eh?
What? That can't be a reward?
もちろん警察はそんな発表はしていない。逆にデマだと発表したんだが、それが分かっていないのか、仲間と一緒に君を探している連中も多いらしい。
Of course, the police had made no such announcement. They actually came out and said it was fake, but there are a lot of groups out there looking for you anyway.
デマだなんてみんなわかっているさ。
Everyone knows it's fake.
何？
Huh? Shinjo-san looked at Sarika with animosity in his eyes.
ネット上の祭りというのはこういうものだ。連中にとっては情報が正しかろうと間違っていようとそんなことはどうでもいい。そうだろう、宮代拓。
That's what a festival on the internet is like. They don't care whether the information is right or wrong. Isn't that right, Miyashiro Takaru? For some reason, she seemed a little happy. She was right. That was the basis mechanism for internet festivals.
有村、久野里さんと和樹たちは。
Aramura, where are Kunosato-san and the others? I want to change the subject, so I asked about the people who weren't here.
久野里さんは1回佐久間が仕事で使っていた PC の中をダメ元で漁ってます。花たちは
Kunosato-san is on the first floor. She's looking at Sakuma's computer, though she doesn't expect to find much. Hana and the others. Aramura glanced at Sarika before she spoke.
優斗くんも一緒に雨季の部屋にいてもらってます。近くにいない方がいいと思ったから。
I sent them all to Uki's room. I thought it wouldn't be a good idea for them to be close. Aramura didn't say it outright, but I knew that she meant close to Sarika.
雨季は、大丈夫かな？
Is Uki, well, okay?
ええ、優斗くんのおかげと言っちゃなんですけど、自分がしっかりしなきゃって思ってるみたいです。そういう時の女の子は強いですよ。覚えておくといいです。
Yeah, it's because of Yuto-kun, I guess. She seems to think that she has to be the big sister. Girls are strong when they get like that, you know. You should remember that.
そっか。
I see. Yui and Cruz had been the same way. Whenever they had someone to protect, they were stronger than anything.
あとは父さん、佐久間がおかしなことをしてこなければいいけど。
Now I just have to hope that Sakuma isn't up to anything.
それは心配しなくていい。佐久間は私と宮代のことにケリがつくまで有村や山添には手を出さない。
You don't need to worry about that. Sakuma won't go after Aramura or Yamazoe until you and I are dealt with.
ねえ、あんたさ。
Hey, you. There was a challenge in Aramura's voice.
まるで仲間みたいな顔して言うのやめて。めちゃくちゃ腹立つから。
Stop acting like you're our friend. It really pisses me off. She was clenching her hands and fists so tightly that they turned white. Her lips are trembling a little. All trace of an expression vanished from Sarika's face. It was impossible to tell what she was feeling. And then the intercom rang. I looked inside. It was from the examination room on the first floor. It was probably Kunosato-san. I had the answer button and put it on speaker.
宮代か。
はい。
Yes?
佐久間が普段使っていた PC は診察室のもの以外にあるか？
Besides the one in the examination room, was there any other computer Sakuma used?
いえ、ないと思います。
No, I don't think so. As far as I knew, anyway. Dad thought I didn't want to call him that now had hidden everything from me.
おい、尾上。ここの他に佐久間が隠れていそうな場所は思い当たらないんだな。
Hey, Onoe, outside this place, you don't know anywhere else Sakuma could be hiding, right?
ああ、
I mean, we at least know where he will be. Saraka answered Kunosata-san's question. During the hours while we waited for the police to leave Alba dorm, Kunosata-san had peppered Saraka with questions. Most of the questions dealt with the nature of the committee rather than the case itself. Heard a lot of words I never heard before, and I don't think anybody but the two of them understood most of it. What struck me the most during that time was the rage on Kunosato's face. Her face was twisted in something terrible, and she would sometimes slam her fist down onto the desk as if she was trying to stop herself from strangling Onoe. Is that her wish? During the earthquake, she wanted to strangle someone? She must have had a really hated the committee. It seemed like it had something to do with what had happened to her when she was in America, but I couldn't ask her anything. I could hear her typing on the computer over the speakerphone. It's no good. I'm not finding anything. Hey, Onoe.
なんだ
What?
お前が私に与えられる情報はこれで全てか
Is this everything you can tell me? Yes, Saraka nodded.
なら宮代を私に預けるというのはどういうことだ
Then what did you mean when you said you want me to take care of Miyashiro? That's right, I hadn't gotten the chance to ask that. Saraka had said that, Frisia.
言葉通りだ久里美代。お前には今後宮代拓郎を可能な限り生かし続けてもらいたい。
Just what I meant, Kunosato Mio. I want you to keep Miyashiro Takuru alive for as long as possible once this is done. I guess that implies Saraka will cease to exist for some reason? What?
私はこれから佐久間の指定した場所へ行く。もちろん一人でだ。
I'm going where Sakuma told me to go. Of course, I'll be going alone. Saraka looked at me as she spoke.
あいつはお前を連れてこいと言っていたが、それに従う必要はない。
He told me to take you with me. There's no need for me to do so.
私は必ずあいつと差し違える。だからお前は久里美代の手引きでこの町から逃げるんだ。あいつが死んで真実が明らかになれば、いずれお前の無実も証明されるだろう。
I'm going to kill him, then die myself. So I want you to leave this city with Kunosato Mio's help. Once he's dead and the truth becomes known, your innocence will eventually be proven. What?
なんで
Why?
お前はもう危ないことはしないんだろう。
You're not going to do dangerous things anymore, are you? No, that's not what I meant.
なんでお前がそんなことするんだよ
Why are you doing this?
私の存在する理由がお前を生かすことだからだ。
Because the reason I exist is to keep you alive.
私がそいつを引き受けるとでも思ってるのか
Do you really think I'll take him in? Kunosato-san's voice was cold as if she thought the whole thing was a bad joke.
受けてはくれないか。
You won't?
当たり前だ私は委員会に復讐するためにここにいるギガロマニアックスのお守りをするためじゃない
Of course not. I'm here to take revenge on the committee, not to babysit gigglomaniacs.
宮代拓郎を渋谷の外に連れ出せば、お前の望みが叶うかもしれないぞ。
If you can get Miyashiro Takura out of Shibuya, your wish might come true, you know. I guess the wish is to destroy the Committee of 300, and if Takaru survives, then he's a really powerful gigglomaniac who can help destroy the Committee of 300. Kunosato-san fell silent as if she was thinking of something. What? What's going on? What'll happen if she takes me out of Shibuya?
いいか、久里美代。佐久間は委員会の中枢へ入り込んでいきたいらしいが、そんなのはただの夢物語だ。 委員会にそんなつもりはないだろう。
Listen carefully, Kunosata and Mio. Sakuma wants to be part of the core committee, but that's never going to happen. The committee has no such intentions.
結局佐久間をどうしようとお前の望む中枢にはたどり着けない。だが
No matter what you do with Sakuma, you'll never get any closer to them. However,
お前が宮代拓郎を連れて逃げれば話は別だ。
if you get Miyashiro Takura out of the city, things change.
カオスチャイルド症候群か。
Chaos Child Syndrome, huh? I frowned when I saw Serika nod. Chaos Child Syndrome? That was the name for the PTSD symptoms that started appearing in children after the Shibuya earthquake. What did that have to do with anything?
それができるのはお前しかいない。委員会に対して知識を持ち、碧峰学園や青葉寮の特殊性に気づいていて、
You're the only one who can do it. You have the knowledge you need to fight the committee, and you noticed what makes Hekiho and Albadorm special. Really? Or something? Oh, if I had to guess, Hekiho was probably made by some committee organization, and so is Albadorm.
なぜ能力者が渋谷に集まっているのか、それを理解しているお前にしかな。
You're the only one who knows why there are so many psychics in Shibuya. Did that not have to do with a silent weapon, with the white light thing?
どうだ、お前が復讐を望んでいる連中が向こうから現れるかもしれないぞ。
What do you think? The people you want revenge on might just come to you. I had no idea what she meant. I could tell that Aramura was confused too. Albadorm Hekiho Academy were special? And what was this about all the psychics being in Shibuya?
それは能力が生まれるきっかけになった白い光が渋谷で起こったからで。
It's because of that white light that created them all. But I guess Noah too is also, like, if you want to go further. No. Wait, that's not right. The light was what created the psychics. That's what I've learned from all the information so far. But what created the light?
能力者たちが渋谷にとどまり続けている理由はない。
There's no reason for any of them to stay in Shibuya, is there?
待ってください。どういうことですか？
Wait a second, what are you talking about? Armora shouted at the phone.
能力者は私たちみたいな人間はどうして渋谷ばかりに？
Why are all the psychics, all the people like us in Shibuya? There's no answer, but I knew Kunosata-san had heard her. Circus stared at the phone as if waiting for an answer. Was there some connection between the psychics and Chaos Child Syndrome?
本当にそう考えているのか。
Are you certain about this?
何？
What?
宮代を渋谷から逃がすことが宮代の生存につながると。
That getting Miyashiro out of Shibuya is the key to keeping him alive?
佐久間を殺したところであいつに思考誘導をかけられた人間は正気に戻らない。宮代拓の居場所は渋谷にはもうない。
Even when Sakuma's dead, his mind control will remain. There's no place in Shibuya where Miyashiro Takeru will be safe.
であれば逃がすしかないだろう。
Which means he has to get out, right?
有村、そいつは嘘を言ってないか。
Aramura, is she telling the truth?
言ってないはずです。それより何なんですか？何を知ってるんですか？
She should be, but what is this all about? What do you know? She went silent again. This time was long enough that I thought she'd hung up.
それなら有村と山添も渋谷から話した方が委員会と接触する可能性は高まるな。
That means that getting Aramura and Yamazoe out would make it more likely that I run to the committee as well.
好きにすればいい。宮代拓郎を連れて行ってくれるなら文句はない。
Do what you want. As long as you take Miyashiro Takeru, I don't care.
は？ちょっと。
Huh? Wait.
宮 しろと有村は荷物をまとめろ。山添にもそう伝えておけ。新庄さんにも手伝ってもらうぞ。
You two, get your things together. Tell Yamazoe too. We'll have Shinjo-san help us. She then abruptly hung up.
どういうことだ？
What's going on?
こっちが聞きたいですよ。ちょっと行ってきます。
That's what I want to know. I'll be right back. Armora sounded very irritated as she said that. She then ran downstairs to go see Kunosata-san. I thought to myself as I watched her go, was there still something I didn't know about the case?
知りたいか？
Do you want to know? Sariko was looking right at me, as if she was trying to test me. Again. She was reading my mind again.
僕は
I...
危険なことはしないで。
Don't do anything dangerous.
別に勝手にすればいいじゃないか。
No, just do what you want. I turned away for the feelings in my mind turned into words. That's right. Anything else would mean betraying Nono. I glanced to the side and saw that Sariko was still staring at me. Her expression was the same as ever. She seemed the same as when I knocked her hand away at Frisia, sad as if she dropped and broken some priceless treasure. November 6, 2015, Friday.
では最後に神聖の町渋谷のますますの発展を願い開催の言葉とさせていただきます。皆様ご協力のほどよろしくお願いいたします。
I'm actually going to go ahead and end the episode there.